How you doing? Come on in. The Come On In Sports Network invites you to join us for the 9th annual Kelly Mills Fundamentals of Football Camp. This year's camp will be Saturday, June 29th at 9 a.m. at Harrell Playground in New Orleans, Louisiana. Donations are welcome, and if you would like to be a guest speaker, please contact the legendary Coach Rock at 504-417-2529. See you then.
The Come On In Sports Network.
Who that nation? How you doing? Come on in. Take a seat. Sit back. Relax. Put your feet up. Grab a drink. And let's talk Saint football. Y'all know what time it is. Time to keep it real. Let's go. Family, family, family. How you doing? The doors are not open, so you already know. Come on in. All right, family. It's your boy Dolph. I'm here with your juice of the day. Wasn't able to get it to you this morning. So, hey, we coming with a live juice of the day. Hope everybody's had a wonderful Tuesday. Hey, get your rest, get back up tomorrow, and let's go knock it out, man. Man, shout out to John Barnes, man. They just had the one and only Dolph Jackson over there, man. Awesome show, man. As always, man, that was really entertaining, man. Great show, man. And listen, if you don't know about John know about now, I don't know what to tell you, man. Cause like the brother said, this shit more than the game. Man, awesome. That brother's awesome, man. Very well, family. I ain't gonna keep it long. What we gonna do is I'm gonna share a couple articles with you. And today I just happened to be in the chat of the Arrowhead Addicts podcast. And I decided to ask them about the linebacker that a lot of us are very excited about having. And what happened with Willie Gay in Kansas City. So we're gonna take a look at that to hear their response about Willie Gay. Also, we're gonna take a look at ESPN's Mike Clayton. He ranks each Saints position group. We'll see where he has each Saints position group ranked. Also, the NFL has announced each team's training camp day for veterans and for the rookies to report to training camp. We're a month away, family. We are a month away before it all starts, family. Wow. Training camp's coming, man. NFL will soon be back. And also, we'll look at courtesy of Saints Wire USA and our brother John Sigler, the latest reports about Alvin Kamara, exactly what he's looking for in the contract talks. Listen, I'm not worried about really the contract with the Saints and Alvin working it out. I feel they go meet somewhere in the middle where Alvin's happy, the Saints are happy. Alvin is going to retire a New Orleans Saints, which he wants to do. He wants to be a Saints lifer, just like Cam Jordan was, just like Drew Brees was. So I'm pretty sure, family, they're going to work this thing out, and Alvin will be in training camp. Might not be the first day. Don't panic, but Alvin will definitely be in the stable. Will definitely be back with a new contract, which would allow him to do what he desires to do, and what many in Who That Nation would like to see is him play his entire career in that black and gold. Alvin can still go. And with this new offense, that is tailor-made to his skill set. I'm very interested, not interested. I'm anticipating. I'm eager to see how Alvin looks in an offense that caters to his talents. Definitely looking forward to that. But before we go any further, meet some of the family members who have already. Samuel, how you doing? Come on in. Samuel's here. That's right, Samuel. That's right. Hit like, subscribe, hit that bell, family. Come on in. Listen, if you're coming in late, if you're watching the replay of this, thank you for taking time out your day to come and kick it with your boy here on your Saints Juice of the Day, which is a part of the Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast. And of course, we are proud members of the Come On In Sports Network. Uncle Jerry, how you doing? Come on in. All right, family. Without further ado, let's get to it. Well, the first article I'm going to share with you, there is no doubt about it. For the New Orleans Saints to be successful this upcoming season, a lot is going to have to do with a young offensive line. A young offensive line which has Talisi Fuaga, this year's number 1 draft selection for the New Orleans Saints. 2022's first round selection, Trevor Penning, who's been moved from left tackle to right tackle. 2023 4th round pick, who the Saints moved up to get in the 4th round, Nick Saldiveri. And of course, the incumbents, one of the best centers, top 5 centers in the league, and Eric McCoy, and Cesar Ruiz, who's looking for a bounce back year. After the year before last, he had his most complete year last year. He was up and down. I'm sure he's looking for a more consistent year. But all of those gentlemen that I just mentioned are under the age of 28. The Saints. And we need to hope for this. Again, we need to hope that that is our starting offensive line, not because of nutrition or injuries, but because they have earned it. Again, Talisi Fuaga, Nick Saldiveri, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Trevor Penning should be our opening day offensive line. Let's hope that they are. And you shouldn't be pulling against it. I've seen people talking about trade Penning. No, trade him for what? Who do you have behind him? Penning's going to work out. They're going to go through their growing pains. Let these young kids get out there. Let them form continuity. Let them go through their pains. And I'm guaranteeing you, fam, I'm confident. Don't ask me where it's coming from. I'm confident. I believe in these young men. I believe they understand what's at hand. They understand that they can play a vital role in the success of this team. If this offensive line is good, above average and good, the New Orleans Saints can do some great things this season. And you got to keep your quarterback healthy, and the Saints must be able to run the ball this year. So with that being said, family, the first article we're going to look at is going to be courtesy of Fox Sports. And here they are talking about Saints success could hinge on top pick Talisi Fuaga and a new look offensive line. This is by Greg Ullman. He is an NFC South reporter for Fox Sports. Offensive line will be a pivotal position for the Saints in 2024 as New Orleans tries to match or exceed last year's 9-8 record. The line will likely have 3 new starters, notably in an offseason with modest overall change to the roster. All 5 starters, I say 28, they're actually 26 or younger, could be 26 or younger. That's if the 5 I just mentioned. Listen, again, the Saints have put draft capital into the offensive line. We cannot say they haven't done it. Eric McCoy has been a success. Cesar Ruiz, he got a second contract. He's been a success. Has it been outstanding? No. But has it been like Carnix? No. But he's getting the job done. Now we need Trevor Penning after being moved from left tackle to right tackle. He seems to have a new lease on life. He's coming in with a new attitude, positive attitude. He understands what he had to work on. He understands that he didn't do his very best. Things didn't go the way that he would have liked to. Now he's eager to get out there and prove to himself as well as his teammates and coaches and who that nation that hey, I am that guy that y'all thought I was, and I can get the job done. And like all new offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak said, right now in OTAs and minicamp, we were looking for what? How much knowledge can they maintain? How smart were they? We're looking for what? Technique. But real football starts when training camp opens up in sunny California in Irvine when they put on them pads. Then we'll really start to get an idea of what our young offensive line will probably look like in the 2024 season. He goes on to say that quarterback Derek Carr likes what he's seen from this group this spring. Carr is quoted as saying, I think they've had a wonderful camp in OTAs and all season. I really do. Last week during the team's mandatory mini camp, but I think the coolest thing I've seen is that unit coming together. They are a walking herd down the hallway wherever they go. That unity, that bond, that cohesiveness, that togetherness. I thought they were close last year, but this is another level. Everyone's bought in. It's just different. You can just feel a different stampede coming down the hall. Two veterans from last year are gone. James Hurst retired and guard Andrews Peak signed with the Raiders in free agency. The bigger loss could be tackle Ryan Ramczyk. The Saints do not expect to have Ryan Ramczyk dusted. This is why they went out. They selected Talisi Fuaga. This is why they moved Trevor Penning over the right tackle and hope things go better for him. And like the Saints have come on and said themselves, again, they have not done any favors to Trevor Penning his first 2+ seasons in the National Football League. As far as Ramczyk, he continues to be limited by a knee injury that could be career ending. Many say, man, Ram just needs to shut it down, go have that surgery, man, rehab, man. You got your whole life, you're paid. But hey, he's an athlete. He loves football. But man, you got to be 100. I don't like seeing Ryan Ramczyk a shell of himself. Before this injury, we all know what he was. And what sucks is this injury that he sustained happens after he signed the contract that he did. The contract that he damn well earned, by the way. It wasn't like the Saints were like, well, he earned that contract. It's just that since he's had that contract, he has not been the same player and has not been able to live up to that contract. The Saints have a new look built around two former first-round picks. In center, Eric McCoy, 26, and Eric McCoy was not a first-round pick. That goes to show you that's why national media, Eric McCoy was not a first-round pick. Guard Cesar Ruiz. McCoy was rated as the NFL's number 5 center by Pro Football Focus last season and is the line's undisputed leader. But he'll oversee a largely unproven line this fall. The headliner is left tackle Tadalisi Fuaga, the team's first-round pick from Oregon State. And his arrival will allow the Saints to shift 2022 first-rounder Trevor Penning, who has struggled in 2 seasons, to right tackle. Left guard is more up for grabs, but the favorite at the minicamp is second-year pro Nick Saldiveri, a 4th-round pick out of Old Dominion, who played only 18 snaps last season in what was essentially a redshirt year. I obviously came here to play football, Saldiveri said last week. That's what I want to do. That's what I love to do. That's what I want to do for the rest of my career. So I'm very fortunate to be in this position, and I'm going to continue to work. Penning started 5 games last year, but was ranked 65th out of 81 tackles by PFF. But the switch to the right side looks smooth this spring, though it would mean more if he handles himself well, again, when the pads come on in training camp next month. I think Trevor Penning has done everything we asked him since we got here, Kubiak said last week. Really tough mentality. I like the person. I like the way he works. I like how important the game is to him. He's no different from anybody else. We're going to coach him hard and expect a lot of him and expect a lot out of him. We'll see what happens when we put the pads on. And this is a continual thing by Kubiak, by Coach Allen, when we put the pads on, by offensive line coach John Benton, when we put the pads on, when we put the pads on. The Saints limited in their offseason spending by salary cap restrictions. They're not limited. Saints could have went out and got anybody and spent any amount of money they want. Added 2 veteran linemen with solid starting experience for new depth. Lucas Patrick, 30, started 15 games for the Bears last year, while Ali Udo, 27, started 16 games for the Vikings in 2021 when Kubiak was the coordinator there, but has just 2 starts in the past 2 years. They signed for a combined $3.35 million. So you got 2 veteran offensive linemen with experience starting and coming in as backups for under $4 million. It's a great move. New Orleans overhauled its offensive staff, with Kubiak taking over for longtime coordinator Pete Carmichael. He brought in 2 veteran offensive line coaches. John Benton is in his 20th year as an NFL assistant, and Rick Dennison is in his 28th. Though neither coach last season, there's ample room for improvement considering the Saints ranked 31st, next to last, in rushing yards per carry last season. And a stat that bothered me, and I'm sure bothered you also, was there was not one Saints running back that had a run for over 20 yards. It was Taysom Hill and Lynn Bowden Jr. And while they had one of the league's lowest pressure rates, that was also a function of Carr getting rid of the ball quickly. Even after the draft, USA Today had the Saints 31st in its ranking of league's 32 offensive lines. Pro Football Network ranked them 27. They'll get challenged early with games against the Cowboys and Chiefs, both ranking in the top 10 in sacks last year. Then facing the Browns, who ranked 6th, and the Packers, who ranked 9th later in the season. There's no telling how quickly a new line and a new scheme can click on the field. Last year, the Saints gave up at least 3 sacks in each of their first games amid injuries, then gave up 3 or more just twice in the final 13 games. So you saw improvement as they went on. That's why we can beat this like a dead horse as the saying goes over and over, but that's what I'm saying. They should just left trouble pending in, man. This would be a younger, less experienced line, but it could wind up a better unit if the early returns on chemistry are a sign of things to come in New Orleans. So let's stay here for a minute. Last year, the Saints gave up 3 sacks in each of their first 4 games. Then they gave up 3 or more just twice for the last 13 games of the season. So again, a marked improvement by that offensive line. I said it, others have said it. When when now with the Raiders, Andrews Pete got reasserted into that offensive line, it brought stability to the offensive line. Because really nobody played good on the offensive line last year. They all had their struggles, including Eric McCoy. Some who I respect very much, who cover the Saints, who podcast on the Saints and everything, to say that Eric McCoy had one of his best seasons last year. I respectfully disagree and want to know what Eric McCoy were they watching, because that Eric McCoy last year is a much better player. He was not horrible, but he was not playing up to Eric McCoy's standards, the standards that he set that we are used to seeing. As a quarterback, those are your best friends, Derek Carr said. So whenever you see that group growing together, as they're growing tighter together, then they start doing some things on the field you're like, oh, wow, that's just a positive sign. I think they took to heart a lot of stuff from last year. I hope they did. I hope they took it to heart because that first month and a half of the season was just horrible. Couldn't open up holes. Couldn't protect your quarterback. Quarterback holding the ball too long sometimes too, patting the ball. It was a whole offense. But the offensive line could have made things better if they were able to run the ball. But they were not. They were unable to reestablish the line of scrimmage. Most of the time, the line of scrimmage was reestablished by the defensive line in the Saints backfield. That can't happen this year. That cannot happen this year. So it goes on to say, I've just been really impressed with just watching. The on-field stuff has been awesome, but off the field, that's been the coolest part to me. So again, if you would like to read that, that is at Fox Sports. That's by Greg Allman, NFC South reporter for Fox. So yeah, family, listen, the Saints are going to go as far as the offensive line takes them. It's just that simple. Kubiak can call the best plays in the world if he wants. We can have all the young skill position players we want. We can have Alvin. We can have Taysom. We can be happy as hell. If you can't pass block, if you can't open up holes in the run game, it's going to be a tough season. And the Saints started out last season like that, man, with the poorest play of the offensive line. And despite, I know they finished 9-8. I know we all had greater expectations for them than 9-8. But it's our first winning season in 2 years. They improved by 2 games. I know y'all saying, Dolph, what you sipping that Loomis juice? Nah, bro, I'm saying facts. I ain't stupid. I watched the game just like you. I know that was an ugly 9-8, but guess what? It was 9-8, and it wasn't good enough to win the South. And it wasn't, of course, if you can't win the South, it wasn't good enough for a wild card to get into the playoffs. But from 7-10 and 9-8, that will say that in some facet, some way, they're making progress. Just not fast as we would have liked last season. Now, another 9-8, or as Brother Prime here has, thank you, Brother Prime, for the $2 super chat. Say Diaz and Cole will go 8-9. He's predicting the Saints record to be reversed this year from 9-8 to 8-9. Ain't nobody like Brother Prime. Thank you, my brother. Slim South, how you doing, my brother? Come on in. My brother Zach, non-fiction, real fan sports. How you doing? Come on in. All right. But yeah, family. So it's going to be the offensive line. It's going to be the offensive line. The offensive line, by season's end, I'm hoping, I'm wishing, I'm predicting help if they can stay the majority healthy, that the New Orleans Saints will have the New Orleans Saints young offensive line by season's end would be the best offensive line in the NFC South and one of the best top offensive lines in the NFC. That's what I'm calling. All right, family, let's go to our next article. Our next article is from ESPN. As they're saying, they're reporting what Alvin Kamara is looking for in the Saints contract. So let's go to that one. All right, get that up there for you, fam. All right, family. So this article is by Coach, again, our brother at Saints Y USA, John Stigler. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, say hitting on Bengals wide receiver Brandon Ayuk and Kamara on Sports Center from over the weekend. Y'all, did y'all see Brandon Ayuk's TikTok? Did anybody see his TikTok? I heard he was talking to Jalen Daniels, and he was like, man, they don't want me. But of course, the 49 is trying to get into crisis mode, trying to cover up and saying that, hey, that's not true. It's a publicity stunt. If it is a publicity stunt, it's bad taste on both of them. And if I'm Brandon Ayuk, I'm not gonna come out and even say that, joke or not, because that's gonna make it look bad on me. Now, if he is telling the truth, which it depends on what side you're on, because you got those who are just side with the organization no matter what. Nah, you can't do that. They're right. The organization always right. Player always wrong. Not always. So let's see what he had. Brother John wrote. Just what was Alvin Kamara looking to achieve by exiting the New Orleans Saints minicamp early last week? ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports that it's the opening salvo in what may turn into a messy summer of contract talks as Kamara looks for more assurance that his future in football remains in New Orleans. It won't. Fowler shared what he's hearing on Kamara during an appearance on ESPN. I can't confirm he missed the final day of minicamp, and that was contract related, Fowler said. He got 2 years left on his deal. He's due $11.8 million this year. The problem is next year he's due $25 million, non-guaranteed. He's due $25 million, but it's not guaranteed. The Saints, there's no way that they're going to pay that. I'm told Kamara is open. So Kamara is open to doing a rework deal, a rework 2-year deal, strengthening his guarantee in year 1, 2025. They have talked about it so far, not a lot of momentum. We'll see if something shakes out, but he could be a threat to miss training camp if they don't get something done before late July. They will get the contract done. He will be in training camp. And by the way, he really didn't miss camp. He left. He showed up. He went out there for the walkthrough. When they broke up to go in the team in position and stuff, position groups, he left. So technically he was there. He just didn't stay for the whole entire day. That's a bold threat if Kamara is indeed committed to a training camp holdout under the new collective bargaining agreement, Article 42, Section 1B. Veteran players under contract are subject to a mandatory fine of $50,000 per day. They remain, so $50,000 a day he can be fined for every day he remains away from the team during training camp. So for context, Kamara received weekly game checks of about $63,000 in salary last season. Training camp includes 21 practice days. So if he holds out the entire time, that's potentially $1.05 million lost in fines. While Kamara can't technically afford it, having earned more than $43 million in his contracts with the Saints alone, to say nothing about his endorsements, effectively losing a year's salary isn't appealing. And this isn't about him wanting a higher salary. It's about ensuring he'll get to be a lifer and finish his playing career where he started. That's the key. It's you got something to do with money, but at the same time, the driving thing behind this is this man wants to be a Saint for life. He wants to finish his career in black and gold, not leave and come back and retire Saint. He wants to never leave the building. And he can still play at a higher level. The offensive system the last 2 years, him being suspended to start the season, and the inconsistent play of the offensive line, the play calling, the quarterbacks, the receivers, everybody not on the same page. We beat that drum enough. We already know. I'm tired of all the negative shit. So I'm not even focusing on that, but I'm gonna still tell it like it is. But Kamara wants to be a New Orleans Saint. I think a lot of us and who that nation, because there are a lot of you out there who are talking about, yeah, go ahead, get rid of Kamara, let him go. because he's going to be 28, 29, almost 30, and you can't pay a running back who's 30 years old. Why? Why you can't? Every situation is not the same. Alvin has played in a running back by committee the majority of his life in the National Football League as a member of the New Orleans Saints. So really, he doesn't have the wear and tear on his body, such as a Derrick Henry, such as a Zeke Elliott. He's not that type of back. He was never used like that. Now, these last 2 years, you may say, hey, well, they ran him a lot with the inside zone. Shout out to brother Dolph Jackson. But for the majority of his career, Alvin's been in the two-back system. He's been in running back by committee. And you think Alvin you don't think he still got it in him? You know, kind of the kid, you see the kind of how the kid works out, keeps himself in shape. So yeah, there's no way I see the Saints parting ways when, especially when the main thing, it's not even about, it's not the main thing, it's not the money. The main thing is him wanting to remain in New Orleans as a member of the New Orleans Saints. He's a leader. The team, they gravitate to him. So if the Saints do Alvin Kamara dirty, what the hell is that going to tell the rest of the team? What the hell is that going to tell the rest of the team? Just saying, family. I'm just saying. Now, Fowler goes on to write that the modern CBA also does not allow teams to rescind or waive those fines as in the past should both sides reach an agreement on a new contract. So let's say Alvin misses the first week of training camp. He's going to have to pay out. He's going to have to pay that fine. The Saints can't say, well, we're going to rescind it. You know, don't even worry about it. No, with the new bargaining agreement, that fine is going to be held up. NFL want their bread. Greedy, as always. It's been an effective deterrent against holdouts. Some players like Deebo Samuels and Derwin James have attempted hold-ins by showing up to camp each day and working out alone on the side while refusing to participate in team drills. But this approach has drawn mixed results. Additionally, Fowler pointed to Clint Kubiak's experience with the San Francisco 49ers last year and forming his plans for Kamara, which may have helped push the running back to this crossroad. Kamara's got to play that Christian McCaffrey role, and McCaffrey just got paid. So that changes things. Kamara's going to need more money. Kamara has spoken about how great a fit Kubiak's offense is for him. So we're guessing he wants to settle into it right away. He spent his spring, like he usually does, training on his own in Miami while communicating with his coaches, including Kubiak, and teammates almost daily. For all y'all out there who were stuck in your feelings, who were listening to local pundits, national pundits, he should be there. He should be there. When the hell has he been there on voluntary minicamp, on OTAs? Not one time. Mandatory has been there. We'll just have to wait and see whether the threat of a holdout materializes into something serious, or if it's even necessary. Kamara's teammates like Jamal Williams have publicly supported him. They have publicly supported his efforts to get a new deal. But the longer this draws out, the greater a distraction it may cause. It will not cause a distraction right now because they're not in training camp. He had like this all writing this article as if he's in training camp. They're not in training camp yet. Everybody just need to calm their horses, man. Just calm down. Woosah. Just woosah. Let's go get done, baby. Let's go get done. All right, family. Trey, big bro, how you doing? Trey says, man, AK wants to retire, same pay that man. Trey, they go pay him, bro. I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to pay him, man. They go pay the man, bro. It go get done. It's no need for. I'm not even losing no sleep or nothing. She ain't like I'm getting no money anyway. But I'm just saying, man. It's my favorite, our favorite team. One of the best players in the history of the organization. Still able to go and has the opportunity to be let loose like a cold up snake ready to strike this season. Man, pay that man. Let him get in there. Let's go to work. Let's do what we do. Saints and Alvin Kamara will come to terms. I guarantee you. He will be a New Orleans Saints this year and for the foreseeable future. All right, family. Got any questions? Please put them in the chat. Slim says, I would like to say one of Kubiak's main reasons signing with the Saints is AK. Of course. You don't think he looked and saw? Okay. And listen, like it or not, a lot of us who you ain't gonna like it. Clint Kubiak keeps saying it. One of the main reasons he signed here was Alvin, but also our starting quarterback. Also Derek Carr. I know y'all won't hear it. A lot of y'all won't hear it. But that's why Clint Kubiak's here. You think Clint Kubiak would have signed here if the Saints had Andy Dalton? If Jake Hayner was the starting quarterback, New Orleans Saints, you think Clint Kubiak would have came here? I'm just saying. What's the most important position in all the sports? Quarterback. I'm just saying, family. All right, family. We're just getting started. Got some more. Next article that we're going to take a look at is ESPN Mike Clay. He has ranked each Saints position group. This should be fun. So let's take a look at this one. Get that on the screen for you. All right, here we go, family. Again, this is ESPN's Mike Clayton. He ranked the Saints position group. This is courtesy of our brother John Sigler at Saints Wire USA. All right, ESPN's Mike Clay. I keep saying Clayton, man. I'm so used to saying the Professor Clayton with the glasses. Mike Clay ranked every single position group for each team around the league. And it's an interesting look at the New Orleans Saints' strengths and weaknesses, or at least how they are perceived through the lens of fantasy football. We've linked his full rankings by position below. But if you're just curious about what the Saints rank, here's a look at each position group's placement among the 32 teams ordered from lowest to highest. The Saints are 3 from the bottom. They rank the Saints defensive line as the 29th best in the National Football League. That's Nathan Shepard, Brian Bresee, Colin Sanders, Jack Heflin, and Christian Boyd. Defensive line. So basically, this is the defensive interior. So they're ranking the Saints defensive interior as the 29th best in the National Football League heading into the 2024 season. Nathan Shepard, Colin Saunders, I really think they played better than a lot of us gave them credit for. But again, as a unit, they all sucked against the run. I ain't no other way to say it. They sucked against the run. They got to get better against the run, man. They got to. We'll see what young Christian Boyd can do. I know a lot of people like him. We'll see how he adapts to NFL life when the lights are bright and when those pads go on, man. So the Saints come in at number 29 when it comes to defensive interior linemen. So the Saints defense interior line is ranked number 29. Also ranked 29, he got the Saints wide receiver group as the 29th best in the NFL. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Bud Means, Cedric Wilson, A.T. Perry, and I ain't so sure Bud Means. Listen, let's see what we get from Bud Means. If A.T. Perry continues the growth that he showed at the end of the season last year, and Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed continue continue to grow into button young stars in this league. And Cedric Wilson, who I told you when they signed Cedric Wilson, I love the addition. A veteran presence a big veteran presence in the slot. I like that. Bud Means, great potential. A lot of people think he's one of the steals of the draft. Let's see how Bub does. But the Saints have the number 29 ranked wide receivers. Offensive line. I mean, defensive line was low, wide receivers low. You know damn well offensive line gonna be low. Number 27, Tadalisi Fuaga. I told you all from the time I saw him up close and personal in Mobile. You won't be surprised. You won't be disappointed. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna take all your flack, everything you want to throw at me. I guarantee you that kid won't be a bust. I guarantee you he won't be a bust. I'll come close to being a bust. Watch and see. Nick Saldiveri, the entire summer's been starting at left guard. He had a soft tissue injury, didn't finish the last day of mini camp. Cool. You know, let's rehab. Let's get that right. Let's go into training camp healthy. Eric McCoy, top 5 center in the league. Cesar Ruiz. Cesar Ruiz is looked upon around the league more highly than we as Saints fans give him credit for. And Trevor Penning, who has to work out, who I'm pulling for to work out. If you're pulling for Trevor Penning not to work out and you're a Saints fan, you're an idiot. And I mean that with no respect at all. You are an idiot for pulling against this young man to fail when if he succeeds, it makes your team better. It makes our team better. He's a first-round pick. I don't think he's close to a bust. Saints ain't do this kid no favor his first 2 years in the league. He has to accept responsibility for his shortcomings too. But he ain't no damn bust. Let's see what he can do when the pass come on. Quarterbacks. We're ranked 22. Derek Carr, Jake Hayner, Spencer Rattler, and Nathan Peterman. Peter Barker, Nathan Peterman, Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, and Derek Carr. I got a real problem, fam. And let me know in the chat if I'm tripping. We know Derek Carr was banged up for most of the early part of the season last year. And the Saints had a above average backup quarterback in Jameis Winston that for some reason the offensive coordinator and head coach just refused to play. So with that being said, my thing is this. Dude, fam. If Derek Carr has to miss 1 or 2 games, are you comfortable with Jake Hayner or Spencer Rattler? Or dare I say, Nathan Peterman running the show? I'm not. I would really like to see them bring in a veteran quarterback, a more than capable veteran quarterback. I would have loved to see them. I mean, when they signed Nathan Peterman, it surprised the hell out of all of us. So does the person that loses the backup quarterback battle between Hayner and Rattler, are they off the team? Do the Saints keep it right now going into training camp? Hayner is the perceived number 2 quarterback. If he holds on to that, what does the Saints do with Spencer Rattler? They really like him. He was QBX pick. Do they move on from him? Do they expose him to the waiver wire? What do you do? And if something does happen, and hopefully it doesn't to Derek Carr, he can stay virtually healthy this season. I don't want to see Nate Peterman in the game. I'd rather see a Jake Haynes or Spencer Rattler. I have no with all listen, Nate Peterman's in the National Football League. He's getting paid. He's playing football at the highest level. He is talented. But as talent goes as far as NFL caliber quarterbacks, he's at the bottom of the barrel. And it is what it is. But the Saints quarterbacks are ranked number 22. Here's a unit I think is ranked a little too high. They got Taysom Hill as a tight end, but Taysom Hill, I don't know. Shit, we could put Taysom Hill at what? If that's the case, why don't we put Taysom Hill at quarterback? Juwan Johnson, of course, he's out. Foster Moreau now assumes the number one tight end role. Listen, everyone's excited about Dolan Hoker, the young undrafted free agent tight end. Well, the Saints 8th-round draft selection, as tight end coach Clancy Barone calls him. And listen, like I said last week, when Coach Barone speaks, I call him the tight end whisperer speaks. I'm gonna listen. Again, I still want to see everything when the pads come on, but every report we're getting is, hey, this kid is that though, that the Saints got an absolute steal. Now, how this kid didn't get drafted, a lot of people are trying to figure that out. I mean, you got shouts out to Ross Jackson. Ross just said the other day, hey, if the Saints are cutting down their 53-man roster, Darlin Hawker is definitely, not maybe, could be, but definitely on that 53-man roster. And in OTAs and minicamp, they're using him in the backfield as a fullback. He's in the slot. So they have plans for this kid to be a real contributor. And now with the unfortunate injury to Juwan Johnson and no set timetable for his return, now the doors open for him. The doors open for Foster Moreau to have a better season. And there's the doors also open for Michael Jacobson, another young tight end who we've been hearing things about. Nick Underhill has been saying good things about. They really like Michael Jacobson. University of Minnesota, played basketball, came in with the Seahawks in 2021, decided that he wanted to try football again. Hadn't played football, I believe, since his senior year in maybe high school, if I'm not mistaken. But he's an athletic, 6'7", 240-something pound athlete, very athletic tight end. So now it's the opportunity for these young men, like Darlin Hawker, like Michael Jacobson, to take advantage of the situation that is now at hand for them. Seize these extra reps. Now you're going to be getting reps you wouldn't get if Juwan Johnson was there. Take advantage of it. Training camp, man, a lot of stuff gets answered during training camp. Okay, now let's go to safety. Safeties, they got the Saints. The Saints ranked 19th with safeties too. Tyrann Mathieu, Jordan Howden, Jonathan Abram, JT Gray. I understand. I hear everything that they're saying about how well that how smart Jonathan Abram is, how him and Tyrann down the stretch the last 2 or so games last year seeing them work great together. But since Jonathan Abrams been in the league, the one thing about Jonathan Abrams he's been a little suspect in coverage. That's been his Achilles heel in coverage. But in the box, he's a hell of a box safety. And of course, Dennis Allen is one thing. We can talk about Dennis Allen as a head coach, but when it comes to a defensive coach and coaching DBs, he the DB whisperer shit because he just gets them to work. Look at Johnny Abram came and he's had success. Former second round pick of the Raiders. He's had success. And of course, JT Gray, the special teams ace, who should benefit from the new kickoff rule this year. Teams won't really be able to double him. He should see more one-on-one. He should see more one-on-one blocking against himself. Man, that kicker, I'm telling y'all, that kicker, I am so intrigued by this new kickoff rule. I think we're gonna have a lot of big plays, man. Running backs, look at this. The Saints have a top 10 running back room, according to Mr. Clay. Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, Kendrick Miller, and Jordan Mills, who a lot of people, hey, another star summer. But remember what Clint Kubiak said in his final presser at minicamp? A lot of names that are ringing now in the summer won't be ringing when it comes when training camp starts and you put on the pads and vice versa. Cornerbacks, the Saints are ranked as having the 8th best cornerback room in the National Football League. Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, who's coming into his own, and this is a contract year. The Saints drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alante Taylor, who had his struggles at the beginning of the season last year in the slot, has now, toward the end of the season, adopted to it, and he's been voted as one of the top slot corners coming into this season. Linebackers, the great Demario Davis, borderline Hall of Famer, continues, man, to defy the hands of time. Pete Warner, Willie Gay Jr., Kaliki Hudson, Jalen Ford, all of a sudden a room that was not strong was looked at as a major weakness. Now you have Davis, you got Warner, you got Willie Gay, you got Kaliki Hudson and Gay and Jalen Ford, who at one time, man, was looked at as a top 3, as at least a third to second round draft prospect. You get him in the 5th round. So the Saints linebacker room is looking real good. All of a sudden, you got youth now, you got speed. Everyone's looking forward to the battle between Pete Werner and Willie Gay. And really, Pete Werner's not about to let he's not about to lay down, just let Willie Gay come in here and take what he's take his position away. Matter of fact, with the addition of Willie Gay, it may be forcing the Saints to play mode 3, a more traditional 4-3, because now they have the bodies, they have the linebackers, they have the athleticism to do it. Edge rushers, now this surprised me. He ranked the Saints 6th in edge rushers, with Carl Granderson, Cam Jordan, Chase Young, Tanoa Pashino, of course we lost Tanoa, young Isaiah Foskey, who seems to have a new lease on life, who said that, hey, last year my head was swimming. I was thinking too much. I wasn't letting it go. I wasn't letting it loose. It was the plays. He was uncertain about himself. This year, he seems to be certain about himself, but we'll really see how certain he is once again when the pads come on. And the dog calls. In the contract year, the Saints refused, didn't pick up the 5th-year option, which we all knew, which was the right thing to do. Peyton Turner. It really is not about talent with Peyton Turner. It's about availability. And I'm sure we all can agree with that. So that's going to conclude the ranking. So the highest ranked position group he gave was the Saints edge rushers, and linebackers at 6, cornerbacks at 8. What's your thoughts on this ranking, family? What's your thoughts on this ranking? Let's see. Just pray to the football gods we stay healthy. Gotcha. Daniel, how you doing? Come on in. Hanging with the cheeseheads. How you doing? Come on in. Thank you for being here. Now, like I said, families. So what's y'all thinking on this rankings, man? Do you think I think the edge rushers, man, is too damn high. There's no way he should have the edge rushers ranked ahead of the Saints DBs. Nah, man. The DBs was the strong suit of the New Orleans Saints last year. And they had to cover a hell of a long time because the Saints mediocre pass rush last year. The Saints had 34 sacks last year. Shit's horrible, man. 34. Can't have that this season, family. Now, earlier I told you that I was hanging out in the chat of the Arrowhead Addicts on podcast. Of course, they cover the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. And so I asked them in the chat about what are we getting, family, in Willie Gay? What are we getting in Willie Gay? Here's what they had to say. Let me share this with you guys. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear it, family. Here we go.
4 guys around him, and you've got a championship football team. If and when you have the greatest quarterback to ever live, all of that gets easier.
Yeah. Oh, good question. Before we go to the ring ceremony and give just some quick thoughts on that, I like this from Keeping It Real, Who Dat Sports Podcast. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Can you please give a quick breakdown of Willie Gay? Why was he not a bigger impact of the defense?
Piece this all together. This is a question coming from New Orleans, where Willie Gay is now. I was like, Who Dat Sports Podcast? Willie Gay. You can go first. I got takes, but I'm gonna clear my throat again.
I think the upside and the ceiling, as we're talking about, was phenomenal. You saw glimpses of greatness at times from Willie Gay. He missed time with a suspension, missed time with injury. He didn't play a ton in college because of injuries. So he's never a guy who's been consistently out there.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. We complain about Peyton Turner. He said it's not about Willie Gay. It's not about the talent. Injuries. He had a suspension, but then he had injuries since he's been in NFL and in college. I'm gonna let it finish, and then I want to hear your thoughts, family. Here we go.
Which I think was why you saw a lot of inconsistency, and also how the Chiefs' defense is typically operating. You only have 2 linebackers on the field at the same time, so a lot of the time that meant Willie Gay Jr. was the odd man out.
Same thing here in New Orleans. 2 linebackers on the field, Demario Davis and Pete Werner. Willie Gay don't beat Pete Werner out. Is it the same thing as in Kansas City? Or does he force the Saints or make the Saints feel more comfortable now because they have Willie Gay playing a traditional 4-3?
We were told year after year he's great in pass coverage. And then it felt like in pass coverage year after year, we're like, wait, really? He is? And then last year was the first year we're like, okay, no, yeah, he really is great in pass coverage. It just took a while for that to really take hold. I really like Willie Gay Jr. The Chiefs have invested so much in the linebacker position. They were not going to pay Willie Gay Jr. Drew Tranquill is a much more complete linebacker. Nick Bolton is the green dot. Leo Chenal is a second-round linebacker. I think they like Cam Jones / Jack Conklin to an extent as their backups. There wasn't a real room or need to pay a lot of money for a linebacker who might not see the field a ton. I like Willie Gay Jr. in a nutshell, but the inconsistencies to me almost will be remembered the most by Chiefs Kingdom, more so than just the highlights.
Yeah, that's interesting because, I mean, they could have made keeping Willie Gay a priority. Like, it's not like they paid Drew Tranquill a ton of money last offseason and then couldn't move around, right? Or that they'd already paid Nick Bolton. They still haven't. So they could have made him a priority. It was always very clear, even to Willie Gay, who was tweeting about it during the season, late in the playoffs. Willie Gay knew he wasn't coming back. I think the biggest reason Willie Gay didn't play more is also one of the biggest reasons the Chiefs are back-to-back champions, and it's one of the reasons that I think he could be better in New Orleans than he was here. Steve Spagnuolo. That is he is a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous net positive to this football team, one of the greatest defensive coordinators of all time. I have a t-shirt that says, "In Spags We Trust," with him going like this on it. You will not find a bigger Spags fan. You won't find many bigger Spags fans around these parts than me. But with what he asks from his linebackers, it's kind of the same reason we saw Dan Sorensen out there playing safety for an extra year than he should have been, maybe a year and a half, because he was able to trust Sorensen in that role, who also ended up in New Orleans, didn't he? Sorry, yeah, Saints fans. That wasn't on purpose. And you know really stinks? Colin Saunders. Wow, there's a lot of them. I like Colin Saunders a lot. That was a joke. But yes, Tano Passanio as well.
Tyrann Mathieu.
A lot tired. Holy bleep, a lot of former Chiefs in the New Orleans defense. Is that working for them? I don't know. Of the guys we just mentioned, Colin Saunders is definitely still good at football.
Tyrann Mathieu was pretty good the past couple of years. His first year in New Orleans was solid.
Yeah, so good luck with that. But with Willie Gay, with Steve Spagnuolo, to put a pin on, or to put a bow on that. Spags loves Nick Bolton, a worse athlete than Willie Gay, but a guy who he trusts to process everything going on defensively, both in terms of what the Chiefs need to do on a given snap, what the offense is showing, getting everybody lined up, all of those things. Now, Drew Tranquill can also do that. And frankly, Drew Tranquill did it better than Nick Bolton did last year, as they both kind of shared that role when Bolton was out due to injury. It's true, Mizzou hat. You know it's true. So I think it's telling that the Chiefs invested in Bolton and paid Tranquill and let Willie Gay walk, in large part because, as you said, Sterling, if you've got two linebackers on the field, it felt like it was almost never Willie Gay by choice being one of those two guys. And that was confusing to me because he is a tremendous athlete. And I think even when he does have a mental mistake, or he's not the guy you want processing everything, or whatever it may be, whatever the, at this point, kind of like trite way of talking about Willie Gay's career in Kansas City, even if you do see one of those missteps, his speed and athleticism allows him to recover in a way that most linebackers in the sport cannot do. So I was surprised by how little he signed for. I would have absolutely been willing to give him that deal if I'm New Orleans. I would have considered it from the Chiefs standpoint, depending on how radical you let me be with the linebacker group, because I don't want them to give Nick Bolton a market-setting contract for middle linebacker. I do not think that would be good business. So I think that Willie Gay deserves more credit than he got for a lot of his time in Kansas City. I think he'll be good in New Orleans.
Yeah, I also think New Orleans linebacker core is very not similar to Kansas City, but they have good linebackers in Demario Davis. That's almost like their Nick Bolton. Pete Warner, who I think is really going to take a step forward, and then Willie Gay Jr. I think Pete Warner is almost like their Drew Tranquill. So I actually like the New Orleans linebacker core a lot now that they added Willie Gay Jr. to
There you have it, fam. The breakdown from Chiefs Kingdom about one Willie Gay and what we're getting. They like Willie Gay. Thought he was held back by injuries, but went on the field. He had a little inconsistency, but they, like you said, they finally saw how good he was in pass coverage. So as a pass coverage linebacker and the spy on running quarterbacks, which has hurt us, this is something that we need, and I think we'll see more. I think we'll see more of a 4-3 set with Willie Gay, Pete Werner, and also the great Demario Davis, and not to be left out though, Khaliki Hudson. Khaliki Hudson he's that signing that a team makes of a player that's up and coming. That game is just growing and is ready to take a I ain't gonna say, a major step forward, a bigger step, and have a bigger role with a team than he had at his former team. All right, Slim says, bottom line is the Chiefs couldn't pay everybody. Gay is a good sign for the Saints. It was, exactly. And listen, like you said, we're getting a good player, man. Listen, you heard him, he likes our linebacker room. He likes Pete Werner, who a lot of you for some reason just hating on Pete Werner. Know what this offseason thing reminds me of with Pete Werner and Willie Gay? It's how everybody was saying last year how Alontae Taylor was just go beat out Parsons and Debo. All y'all was saying Alontae Taylor, Dolph better, Alontae Taylor, and what Parsons and Debo go out there and do? Ball his ass off. That's it. All right, family. Well, look, family, that's going to do it for tonight. This has been your Saints Juice of the day. I'm your boy, Dolph Jackson of the Come On In Sports Network. Listen, I need everybody to hit that like button. Subscribe if it's your first time. If you're watching the replay, thank you. If you're here live, thank you. I really appreciate your family. Again, I'm gonna try to get your juice of the day out tomorrow. If not tomorrow morning, I'll try to definitely have it uploaded for you guys tomorrow evening. Before we get out of here, Trey says, I'm not worried about the defense. Our offense can keep them off the field. That's a good sign of a complimentary team. Offense has been the thought. Yeah, but again, it's on the offense, man. And it starts with Tylese Fuaga, Nick Soldeveri, Eric McCall, Cesar Ruiz, and Trevor Penny. With that said, family, like always, love and who that, and we out. Have a good night, family. How you doing? Come on in. The Come On In Sports Network invites you to join us for the 9th annual Kelly Mills Fundamentals of Football Camp. This year's camp will be Saturday, June 29th at 9 a.m. at Harrell Playground in New Orleans, Louisiana. Donations are welcome, and if you would like to be a guest speaker, please contact the legendary Coach Rock at 504-417-2529. See you there.
The Come On In Sports Network.